everyone, and welcome to Revit Vs AEC Collection, the truth about investing in a collection. My name is Juliana, and I work in marketing here at MicroCAD. And today's presenter is Sandra Vogemuth, our applications engineer. At today's webinar, we will show you how you can win more work, deliver more sustainable projects, reduce risk, and save money with the AEC collection. Throughout the webinar, you can ask a question at any given point on the left-hand corner. You can ask Sandra to revisit a step or ask any questions. This is your time, and we want you to make the most of it. And in the upper left-hand corner, you will find links to our social media and website. We also have there our YouTube channel. We post all of our webinars there at the end, so you can share with colleagues or rewatch it on your own time. And without further ado, we'll pass it on to Sandra. Hey, Sandra.
Hi guys, let me start sharing my screen. And there we are. Let me introduce myself. My name is Sandra Vogemuth. I am an AEC solution specialist at MicroCAD. I have been so for quite a while now. Before that, I was the BIM-CAD manager with an engineering firm for over 7 years. And before that, I was also an application specialist, been with the software since it's the beginning of time. And today, and by the way, first meeting of the year. Happy New Year, everybody. Let's make 2023 an awesome, very productive year. And talking about productivity, let's embark today in this journey about how I find it so important to invest in the AEC collection set of tools. It's all about investing your resources, especially now at the beginning of the year when you're starting this new leaf and we're embarking in this new adventure. Let's embark in a really huge new adventure. So, what is the AEC collection? AEC, obviously, you all know, transfers into architecture, engineering, and construction collection. Sorry. And from my point of view, this set of tools is the best way to provide all the stakeholders in the design, construction, and further life cycle of a project to give them a common set of tools that is cloud-based, that gives you a common data environment so that you can collaborate so much smoother. And that way you can facilitate and get a smoother project delivery from the early states of design, from the first conception and those napkin drafting things that you do when you're first discussing the first ideas with your client, through construction, through the end of life of the project. You will be able to create high quality, high performing building and infrastructure designs with awesome tools that will enable you to present conceptual design and move from there on to a detailed presentation smoothly without having to jump from platforms to platforms. You will be able to start analysis of your projects very early on, from the very early stages of design. And this is becoming so much more important. Every day that we pass, we need to become more conscious of the energy that we're spending in the use of our buildings, in the construction of our buildings. We'll be able to do faster design through generative processes and tools. We will have better visualization tools, better simulation tools, better understandings of our projects. we will be able, through all this better understanding of our projects, we'll be able to predict issues and predict them ahead of time before they happen in the field. In that way, I mean, and you all know, if I don't, the less RFIs I get in the field, the better I'm off. And if I have the whole tool set to make it so that I reduce those RFIs, that I reduce uh, all those unpredictables in as far as possible that happen in the field, that will improve my constructability, and that will improve, obviously, my bottom line. So let me talk a little bit about creating with more confidence, having more imagination when we're creating. We have, and this is just a small amount of the tools that we have for the AEC collection. So we will start for the architectural design with Format Pro. Format Pro is a um, modeler that you will be able to use out of your tablet while in the first stages of discussion with your client. Format links to Insight. Insight is an energy performance analysis that links either to Format or to Revit. You will have 3D Max, you will have CAD, you will have Recap Pro. If you're not starting from scratch zero, then instead of Format, most probably you will need to use Recap Pro, because you will want to be able to capture your existing buildings. You will be able to create automation of your processes through Dynamo. Huge time saver. Time is money. Autodesk rendering will allow you the capabilities to present very compelling views of your project to your clients. Navisworks Manage will link everything together once it goes into the final phases of construction. Autodesk Docs will allow you to link all your documentation in one solid web-based, cloud-based location where you can collaborate with all your stakeholders. And all this ties up to this other product that we have, which is BIM Collaborate Pro, for sharing Revit models and sharing information. So let's start from the base up. Conceptual design. Sometimes I need a software that is a little bit more malleable and flexible than Revit to start my first conceptual design. If I want to be very plastic, if I just want to throw ideas like volumes and masses all over the place. And the beauty about Format is that it works on iPads or Android tablets. So you can be on a site, you can be sitting in a restaurant, you can be sitting wherever you want to be having these discussions, and just through any of those devices, access Format and start throwing masses and start creating conceptual massing and start showing the first ideas of your project through this conceptual massing. And I'm going to be mentioning Insight quite a lot, because I think that the earlier that we start doing energy studies of our models and of our projects, the better we are going to be off in all kinds of senses, right? Format links into Revit smoothly, and then you can develop. I mean, we know the capabilities of Revit, right? And as I mentioned, if you don't have, if you're not starting from scratch zero, if you're starting from existing conditions, you can deliver your renovation project so much faster, getting a capture of your existing conditions, and use that capture, those cloud images, those point images that gets get created by scanned data, and then again that gets exported to Revit smoothly. So what is the idea of this whole conversation? How you can maximize the investment that you're doing already by having that Revit license, right? How you can add to that already existing Revit license in your portfolio, and how you can use those added tools to improve your general workflow. So 0 to 2, format and recap, right? And format and recap, and you know my presentations, I always go jumping from the benefits in the architectural industry as well as jumping to the benefits in the MEP and in the structural industry. So recap, all the industries are going to be able to benefit from the fact that you are able to register to scan data. You're able to edit those point clouds, and then again, boom, it goes into Revit. Right? My banner reason, I mean, besides of, there's another big reason that I'm going to mention in a moment, but big reason to choose the AEC collection. The option that you have to link to Insight. What is Insight? Insight is a cloud-based building energy analysis. And as I mentioned before, it works from your very early design stages when you're just throwing massing elements out into the world as ideas. You can start from that point on parallel creating your energy analysis models. You can do iterations on in Insight, as many as you want. You can monitor your performance changes while you are doing design changes, and you can base your design changes on those improvements of your performance, right? So that becomes like a back and forth of you resending from Revit out to Insight, the model to be analyzed. And that way you can end up really optimizing your data. And the beauty about Insight is that it is very easy to understand and read the data in Insight. Moving on, Dynamo. Your connection to Dynamo and your connection, the ability that you have to automate repetitive tasks. And I have used Dynamo for to reduce performance tasks and setup tasks that used to take me 4 to 5 hours, bring them down to 4 to 5 minutes. Yeah, time is money. So it ends up working out. You know, it's a worthwhile investment, right? And that is what my whole um, conference is about today, is that it is really worth your while in terms of investment to, if you already have Revit, move up to the AEC collection. To have a nice bullet there at the end to really bring my point home, right? You get the connection to Naviswork Manage. And in Manage, I think nowadays most of building coordination before construction is being done through Navisworks. And you will be able to move back and forth between Navisworks Manage and Revit, and um, end up delivering twofold construction documentation that is up to date to the construction situation that is going to be happening on the site. Right? And here again, the very huge importance that when you're working in this environment, your link between Revit and Navisworks Manage Works not only for the architectural field, but also for the structural field and the MEP field. Next, you can get the connection to 3D Max. And it is now secret that sometimes clients want to see more realistic visualization. And if you want to really go for photorealistic, there is no better software than 3D Max. It's a powerful rendering and animation software. It is a software that I have also used for lighting analysis. I mean, needless to say, renderings like these have a compelling sale of a project that is being planned. And so recap a little bit, tracing back. Let me come back to this slide where we see all the software that you will be able to have access to when you have the AEC collection. So for architecture, you have the rendering, you have 3D Max, you have Format, you have Recap, tying everything together, Autodesk Docs, and BIM Collaborate Pro at the bottom. For our MEP industry, we have Recap, obviously, for existing conditions. You have Insight, you have a clean, smooth connection to fabrication software. Obviously, you go from MEP products back to Navisworks Manage. Dynamo, to me, it's a huge, huge, huge plus to have in your portfolio of tools. And then AutoCAD. I mean, I have found in my career very few, if I should say none, companies that have been able to completely weed themselves out and wean themselves out from AutoCAD. You will need to have a couple of AutoCAD licenses. It is the most commonly used product in the industry. You will always have to either send a CAD file or receive a CAD file. So, to recap your benefits, you will be able to win more work. You will be able to deliver higher quality designs by being able to address design issues earlier in this design process. You will be able to work more efficiently by having all these components that link together in that compound data environment. And then as a result of that, you will be able to expand your billable services to the clients. And then, I mean, just talking real smack reality and numbers. If you have Revit already, we already established that you will need an AutoCAD license. If you add those two up, the lump sum of the whole collection for the year is already covered. So buying your or getting your licenses separately does not make sense. And then if I offset $3,270 in a year, if I offset that to 12 months, it comes out in my calculations to $273 a month for the whole collection, for everything, right? So before I handed this back over to Juliana and questions, let me remind you that we here at MicroCAD, we have a very expanded tool group of engineers and co-workers and experts in all the packages. And we will ensure that you have a smooth transition to all these softwares, to the use of all these softwares so that you maximize your productivity, so that you maximize your time and therefore your money. So, Juliana, um, I think this is it for my presentation. Do we have any questions?
Thank you, Sandra, for that wonderful presentations. As a reminder for everybody, you can ask a question on the left-hand corner. And we have a few questions coming up. And the first one is, how much time does it take to create an automated workflow?
I would say that your time investment, the minimum is about 3 months. I mean, to get all your workflows up and running and everything, I would say about 6 months. I have Greg with a direct question here in our Q&A. Greg asked, I don't see Dynamo listed in my all products and services account page. This is the same Dynamo Studio, yes. No, it's still the Dynamo. No, the version is newer. You just have it integrated within your Revit nowadays. Once you get the collection.
Got it. Thank you. And the next question is, what if we don't need every product in the collection?
You can use and install the products that you need. As I mentioned, for sure you will need Revit and CAD. For sure you might need Revit and Navisworks, and another person in your office will need Revit and 3D Max, right? The advantage of having the AEC collection is that, as you saw in my price listing, the subscription cost will be the same as having just one or two packages if you bought them independently. And then the administration of all the packages is so simple through the Autodesk website. Uh, and then I have found that sometimes having the ability to access the software will develop the curiosity to see how I can use it, and that will develop in your improved rentability.
Okay, and we have another question, and it says, how are the products in the collection integrated?
Um, there is a data exchange through BIM docs, and the interoperability of the collection is that they're all based in uh, workflows that are becoming more and more similar. And then you will have uh, a bridge to structural analysis, steel detailing, fabrication, mechanical fabrication, right? Out of the same suite of products. So, and that all ties in together through Autodesk docs. So I hope this is a good answer to your question.
Which we will have a webinar on next
Oh yeah,
next
so
month. Yeah, we
oh,
will.
so only have
That's
the
why we
January.
tell you to please make sure to check our website. We always have these webinars. Um, the next ones we have are professional PDF editing with Review 21, Bluebeam Cloud, sorry, Inventor 2023 User Group, and Finish Line Pro, which is a new product for markup, design, and engine. Um, we have a last question here. Um, is it really worth it to make this investment?
Yes, 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 and yes, and here, let me trace back to these numbers. I mean, as I mentioned, you will need at least the combination of either Revit CAN, Navisworks, uh, Revit Max, Revit, any combination will give you a sum that is bigger than the number that you pay for the whole collection through the year. And it's just a matter of numbers. And I know, I, I did this math when I was not working, when I was an end user, and I did this math in front of a couple of my bosses, and it always made sense. That is my 2 cents about that.
Thank you. So yeah, if you want to learn any of these topics in detail, you can always take a custom training with Sandra or someone else on our team. We also offer group classes online. So yeah, be sure to be checking our MicroCAD website. As you could see, we have future webinars coming up, and that concludes our webinar today. Thank you, Sandra, for that wonderful presentation. And thank you, everyone, for attending. And Happy New Year.
Thank you,
Oh,
everybody. Bye.
but you know what? I think we have one last question that I just can't let go.
Awesome.
It says, is it allowed to have two people working off one suite, as an example, one using Revit and the other using AutoCAD?
Um, I'm going to give you an answer to that. That is going to be like a yes but no. It cannot be run simultaneously into different computers. The subscription runs by an email address of the user. Let me leave it to that before I get into trouble.
Thank you so much. Okay, and now that concludes our webinar. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Sandra. Bye
You're
bye.
welcome. Bye, everybody.